All right, you guys, it is time. Let's get this Zoom presentation started. Hey, thank you guys so much for spending a little bit of time with me here tonight. My name is Steve Schultz. I'm the president here at Innovative Nutrition, and we have got a very, very special guest with us here tonight. And there is nothing formal about what we are going to do here tonight. We are just going to have just a friendly conversation, and we've invited all of you guys to be a part of this thing. The gentleman that I'm going to introduce is going to be our keynote speaker at our convention that is coming up in just a few short weeks. I showed you guys my desk this morning. I think it is packed with convention information and convention announcements. I think I just said that out loud. Convention announcements. Yeah, it's a convention. Of course, we've got some announcements, right? But we are so thankful that Todd has decided to join us at our convention. Todd has 25 years worth of experience in the network marketing industry. He started when he was 22 years old. And Todd, I had to go back and actually think about when I got started because I thought, wow, I got started when I was 22. But it was actually 26. I got involved when I was 26. You got involved when you were 22. But I'll tell you what, you guys, and Todd will be the first one to tell you this. He struggled. He struggled. He did not have success out of the blocks. And I think everybody on this call here tonight can kind of relate to that. But the one thing that Todd absolutely positively did right is that he never quit. He never quit. You know, he continued to believe in himself and believe in the company, and he just continued to go out there and talk to people, and he built a very, very successful network marketing business. And from what he has learned over the past 25 years, good and bad, he has created a company called Reach for Success. Reach for Success. And Todd, I love the name of your company because I think you do have to reach for success. Success is something that doesn't just fall in your lap. It is something that you absolutely positively have to reach for. So I love the name of your company. Todd has spoken in 25 countries, and audiences of 10,000 and more people. So this guy is very entertaining, but I will tell you this, watching Todd, do what he does, it's kind of a reality check. It's kind of a reality check with Todd and how he teaches because he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He tells it how it is. And I think that is so beneficial to anybody that is trying to build a very successful, network marketing business, and exactly what we're doing here at Innovative Nutrition. All the way from the great state of Oregon, but he is actually in New Orleans this afternoon or this evening. Todd Falcone. Todd, welcome to the call.
Steve, what's happening, my friend? Great to be here.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you are happening. You are happening, and I am just thrilled. And you got a bunch of fans on this call with us here tonight, man. I know that you did a Be Live with Heidi just a few weeks ago, and so everybody had a chance to meet you. But you've got some friends that are on this side with you right now. And we are really, really looking forward to hearing what you have to say at the convention. But Todd, I want to put the convention stuff off to the side for just a second because you guys are going to hear Todd a lot at the convention. Todd, I think he knows this already, but we're not going to let him rest at our convention at all. You're going to hear Todd 3 separate times at our convention, and he's also going to be part of our VIP experience, which is skydiving off the Stardust Hotel. I don't know if you knew that yet, Todd.
Oh.
So,
I'm game. Let's do it.
You're going first.
As long as Casey's going with us.
Oh, Casey's going to lead the way. Yeah, you and Casey are going to do a tandem jump. So you're good.
Let's do it.
You're good. But Todd, I want to talk a little bit about building a business like this because this is a crazy business. I mean, it is a crazy, crazy business, especially for somebody who's brand new and they don't quite understand what it takes to build a business like this. A lot of people think, oh, it's network marketing. All I have to do is just add a little bit of water and I'm going to become an instant millionaire. Didn't you see the presentation? The guy or the girl just told me all I have to do is get three, and I'm going to make $8 zillion a month. Todd, let me ask you this. What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make in building a business like this?
The single biggest mistake?
Is there one?
I mean, I can sit there and rattle off, boom, 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 boom. Like the first couple that come to mind. First one is like, I mean, that's such a broad question because I don't think it's really one mistake. But sometimes I think it's people come in and they think it's for me personally, it was overly high expectations and a huge under delivery on those expectations. And it was, it was my fault. The presentation kind of showed me like, oh my gosh, the potential network marketing. I thought I'd be making 10 grand a month in 90 days. Not that you can't do that. You certainly can. I've seen people do it. But I think a lot of people come with overly high expectations. Sometimes they also think that it's really not work. It is network marketing. Requires a tremendous amount of diligence and consistency. It's funny because in every success book, the word consistency is used. In order for you to be successful in anything, you got to be consistent at it. And it almost gets drowned out because it's used so much. But the key to success in this business is consistently doing the right kinds of activities. I think one huge mistake people do make is they kind of kid themselves into believing that they're doing the business, but they're really not doing the business. They're showing up for things like this, Zooms and conference calls and events and all that stuff. But it's like, how many exposures did you actually do today? Well, I didn't do any today, but I trained a lot. And I think, even as a trainer, I'm like, dude, you don't need to be plugging into my training in the middle of the day. You need to be talking to people, exposing your business. You can get trained later tonight or early in the morning. But people make a big mistake of kind of kidding themselves into believing that they're actually doing something when they're not. And I think another mistake, or I would say a suggestion I would have so they don't make the mistake, is stay what I call close to the fire. And being close to the fire is just like if you're at a campfire, hugging up to the fire, it's keeping warm. Well, the fire here is staying around productive people, staying around people that are doing, because in every network marketing deal, there's doers and don'ters. And so you get to choose, do I hang out with the doers that are coming up with every reason to make it happen, or do I hang out with the virtual water cooler people that are making excuses? And that's a choice we need to make. My suggestion is you make sure you stay close to the people that are making things happen.
Yeah, one of the things, Todd, that I was guilty of, and I have to check myself all the time, is painting the picture that this is so unbelievably good that really all you have to do is get through. And you look at that and you go, well, that's what the comp plan says. If we go out there and get 3 people, teach them how to do this, everybody can go get 3. And if we can just multiply that out over 8 levels. But the problem is that people have that mindset that they only need to get 3. They think the first 3 people that they talk to are going to go duplicate that. And you made a great point when you said, people think they're building their business when they're not. I talk a lot about money-making activities. Really you have to check yourself every single day and say, all right, what I'm doing right now, is that moving me closer to my goal? Is it moving me closer to signing up a new customer? Is it moving me closer to signing up a new promoter? Or do I have everything on my desk organized? I've got the neatest prospect list here. I haven't called anybody, but man, do I have a great list of people. It really is about going and doing the work, isn't it?
Yeah, people will, they will have the most beautiful desk, but the lowest check. Yeah. So it is, and it's like, so I'm interviewing a woman on Monday night for my Monday night call. And I already know, because I already kind of know her story, but when she started her network marketing business, she had pretty much no time. And so all she did is she committed to making literally 1 call a day. She made 1 call a day in the morning, and she called that same person back on her drive home. But she committed to doing it every single day. Get the one person in front of the video. I'm gonna call you back on the way home. And in just under 12 months, she earned 6 figures her first 12 months by doing 1 call a day. And I think sometimes people don't understand the impact. That's not high activity, but that's consistent day in and day out activity of the right activity, not huge activity, but the right activity. And the compound effect of that over an extended period of time is pretty significant.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've always learned from hanging around the fire. Like you said, I always hung around people who were way better at this business than I was. I hung around people who were making more in a month than I made in a year, and I just glued myself to those people, and I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And the number one thing that they did is that they did it every single day. They did it every single day, whether they were good or bad at it. Because a lot of these people that I was meeting that were making just ginormous checks on a monthly basis, I'm like, you're not that good. You don't present that good. You're not. And I thought, but what they're doing is that they're talking. They have the right activity every single day. And I think consistency is huge. When I asked you the question, what's the number one thing that people do wrong? In my head, is that they stop. They just stop. There's a reason that we all got involved in this profession. And whatever that reason is, I mean, if you got 1,000 people in the room, you've got 1,000 different reasons. Well, if it's not working for you, it doesn't mean that the system doesn't work. What it means is what you're doing doesn't work. And I tell people all the time, I said, you just make sure that you are flexible enough to be able to change your approach because the system is already in place. So I think you're right on with that, man, about being consistent. I think it's so important that you have to be consistent. You know, Todd, one of the things that, you know, I'm trying to teach everybody in Innovative here is to make sure that they know what their target is. Make sure they understand what their target is. Because I run into a lot of people who are like, I'm talking to all these people all the time, and it's good activity, but it's just helter-skelter. It's just chaos. And they're not focused in working maybe with the right people to try to get them to the next promotion level. How important is it to you and in your mind that people understand, you know, not only how the comp plan works, but how to get to the next rank position?
Oh, I mean, how are you going to get to the next rank position if you don't know where you are relative to the next position? You don't have to understand every intricacy of the compensation plan, how it's paid out, but you sure as heck ought to know exactly what it's going to take to get you to that next level. And you talked about, target. Like, I think every network marketing company, and I've spoken for many, they have different demographics, different target markets based on the product. So suggestion for all of you is write down who is your ideal customer, who's your ideal distributor, like what are the qualities those people exhibit, what quality does your perfect distributor exhibit? I've spoken with companies where the demographics are 22 to 28 years of age, and then literally the very next week I spoke for a company that had a vascular dilation product, and I was the youngest guy in the room by probably 30 years. Like, there was literally, I don't think anybody in that room under the age of maybe 65. So I wouldn't be out there talking to 22-year-olds about that product. So when you get some clarity there, because when I don't know about you, but when I started network marketing, I was willing to talk to anybody and everybody that was willing to hear me out. And then I started to get a little bit pickier. And I started to realize, I get to choose who I put into my business. I don't have to talk to everybody. I'm not saying don't go bring this opportunity to other people that, when the opportunity presents itself, but take a look at who's the ideal candidate for your opportunity and who's the ideal candidate for your customer from a customer standpoint. And don't say everybody, because the whole planet, they need our product. Okay, that's fine. I understand your enthusiasm. That's beautiful. But really, every product that is marketed has a specific, unless we're talking about this, right? Everybody drinks water. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's no demographic market for water. The human body needs water. But I think if you gain some clarity there, it's going to help you identify those people when you see them in the marketplace.
Yeah, the old saying is you can't tell the studs from the duds. And, what's great about our business is that we truly can choose the people that we want to work with. And yes, we want to go out there and talk to anybody that comes within 3 feet of us. But hey, we are the president and CEO of our own organizations, and we can kind of pinpoint a little bit who we want to talk to and who we want to work with and things. But the key is you got to do it every day. That's fine if you want to go pick the people you want to, pinpoint and target, but you better be doing it every single day. Todd, the other thing that comes up a lot, and I fight with people on this quite a bit, is somebody will use the excuse, the reason that it didn't work for me is because my upline didn't support me. Talk about that a little bit.
That's having a high degree of zero accountability, right? I mean, here's the thing. Like, your sponsor is going to be there to encourage you and help you, but they're not there to do it for you. I do think to some extent people do need to, depending on what their background is, need to learn to be accountable and learn to be responsible for themselves and stop blaming the weather, the sponsor, the color of the logo, the video, the brochure, the whatever. I mean, people come up with any excuse. In the end, you're the only person to blame for your success or your failure. I've been running accountability programs for, 10 years. I memean, Casey Everhart's done multiple. I think he's done he's probably done 10 of my accountability programs. Casey and I met because he had to use the restroom at a hotel in Los Angeles, California, 10 years ago. And he comes in, he sees a big banner of Todd. And he's like, who's this guy? He goes, is that you? I'm like, that's me. He's like, what is this? I says, it's an entrepreneur seminar. Come on in. And it was cool because Casey's a prime example of somebody who understands the importance of being a student and sharpening their saw. And he's been sharpening a saw forever and ever. And that's what leads you to greater results. And it leads you, I think, as well, to this whole position of like, if it is to be, it's up to me. I'm going to step up. I'm going to take the responsibility and get this done. Yeah, it'd be great if you had a super active sponsor that, said something and then they did it. They kept their promises, but in some cases that's not the case. And regardless of whether you have a great sponsor, a huge leader sponsor, something that started yesterday, that doesn't cause you to not be able to be successful just because they don't have a lot of experience. It's up to you to step in, and you're self-employed. You got to learn to be independently self-employed, step up, be resourceful, start looking for the answers. If you ask, I'll tell you one thing that I did as an early on entrepreneur. I was very inquisitive. I wanted to know, and I wouldn't sit around twiddling my thumbs going, gee, how come I don't know the answer to the question? Well, the only reason I don't know the answer to the question is because I haven't asked it. So I go ask the question, get the answer, then I go apply it.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing with me, and I run accountability groups with Vanessa Hunter, V very, very well. And we've got an accountability group. We just got done with one group. We're starting another group in just about a week or so. But I also have a health challenge accountability group. And these people put themselves out there. And when you put yourself out there publicly, it does something. And we're really good on social media in this company, Todd. People are posting their results and the health results that people are getting, especially with weight loss. I mean, we're a total health company, but we highlight weight loss because it's so dramatic. I mean, it's crazy. I'm going to do a webinar here right after this one, and we've got a lot of testimonials, but the results are crazy good. But it's amazing how those results speed up with accountability. Every single day, and I'm not just talking health-wise, I'm talking wealth-wise. If you've got an accountability partner that is with you every single day, doesn't sugarcoat it, makes sure that you are doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, your business is going to grow pretty darn fast, and you don't need an upline for that. If your upline is not the person, I remember I trained my upline back when I got involved, in this profession in August of 1990. My upline had been in the business, a week before me, and that person's upline got in, a month before he did. So I'm like, okay, I was so curious because I always thought to myself, all right, if the company's willing to pay me this money, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to get to the top level. I'm going to figure out the compensation plan. I'm going to whether my upline teaches me that or not, I don't care because I'm going to go do it myself. And I made myself accountable. I held myself to those types of standards. And I think everybody, if they had that mentality, man, it would be so much easier for them to go out there and do this. Now, we already touched on this next point, but what we're trying to teach people to do here, Todd, social media wise, is posting our results. We don't mention our company on social media very often, but we post the results. And we get a lot of people, a lot of our promoters, we call them promoters in our business. The promoters get tons of feedback. All right. People are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? How do I get involved in that? And I think and it might be human nature, but help me out here a little bit. What happens is that a lot of people drop the ball. They've got all these prospects that are just calling them, but it's a matter of picking up the phone and calling them back and following up with the people. And I don't think people do that enough.
I would 100% guarantee that they don't do it enough. It's because it's a path of heart. There's more resistance that way, right? So I can say,
is it because they're afraid of the answer? Do you think that's the main reason? If I'm going to call you and go, well, I'm involved in this health company, it's called Innovative Nutrition, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I've seen that thing before. Is that what people are afraid of? You think?
I think they're afraid of something. I think it differs from person to person, but I would say if there was a single fear, it's the fear of being judged. Yeah. Right? It's the fear of how somebody's going to respond and they're not going to love me anymore because I brought them this deal. But see, you're out there posting before and afters, for example, which are super powerful on social without putting the brand up there, without putting the name, which causes curiosity. Because if you start throwing out innovative, I'm just going to go Google it and I'm going to figure it out on Google. I don't even need to talk to you. But I'm like, oh, wait a minute. How the heck did you do that? I message you. Well, now I just showed, or I commented on the thread. It's up to you to reach out to the person. If somebody goes, holy smokes, those are miraculous results, I'm going to message you. and I'm going to take that instant message, that Facebook Messenger, and then I'm going to pick up the phone and call you. It's funny to me because when the internet started to take off, Steve, like you and I are both pre-internet. I started in 1989 in network marketing.
Yep.
And then the internet comes along, and it was like the heyday when it first started. When email first started to happen, we would send out emails. We get 100% open rates. I put 10,000 people into a network marketing business in 6 months sending emails. You can't do that anymore. Like literally, like I would personally have personal enrollments of like 150 or 200 people a month. But, and for me, what I did is I picked up the phone and called those people, and there's all these other internet marketers, right? They're like, oh, we can just send email and we don't have to talk to people. I'm like, no, because there's no attachment that way. They have no attachment to you. And here I have this solid organization where I've got this group of people that are held together by relationships, and all these other organizations or groups are falling apart because they had no connection to the person or the company that they signed up with. They just kind of came in through the system. And so when all these seminars were going on in the mid-90s with all these internet marketers, they were bringing me in to be the guy that would stand on the platform and go, look, just because you're using the internet doesn't mean that you don't pick up the phone. And like this baby right here has made me more money than anything I've ever used. And I don't trash talk internet marketers or social media. It's all part of the whole picture. But if you don't engage people in conversation, and I think it's even the presentation I'm talking about tomorrow is all about relationship building, and it goes well beyond us twittering back and forth to one another on Messenger. It involves like a true connection. That's how you create real organizations that stick together like glue.
Yeah, building relationships is the key, and it's just it's one of those deals where you got to pick up the phone, you got to follow up. You don't have the person in your organization now anyway. So the worst thing that can happen is they tell you no and you go on to the next person. It's not that big of a deal. So Macy is knocking at my door trying to get in, my dog. Okay, I have to let her in because she's barking. Hold on.
You got a dog that knocks on doors. You got cats that are named after presidential nominations.
Yeah, she's a rescue dog too. My son went to the Humane Society in Madison, and there you guys can see Macy a little bit. Mike walked into the Humane Society in Madison and said, what dog has been here the longest? And they said her. He said, okay, we'll take her.
That's cool.
That's Macy right there. Hey,
you got fish and lizards and snakes in my house. So.
That's because you're an outdoor guy. Okay, now you gotta do this now. You go. Hey, let's talk about the convention. How many conventions have you attended? Any idea?
Let me. Well over 1,000 for sure.
Well over 1,000.
That's a lot of conventions, man.
Yeah, you need to get out more.
I figure I do about between probably a minimum of 50 a year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. As a distributor, as a promoter, as on the corporate side, I've been to 28 of them in a row. As a member of that one company. And every single time that I go to a convention, I get inspired. I absolutely get inspired. And talk to me about that. You've been to so many. Is there ever a time that you walk away from there and you go, oh, I didn't pick up anything from that?
Never. No, never. In fact, it's so funny because I go and I speak at these events, but I also get totally fired up myself. I go to these events as one of the keynote speakers or guest speakers, but then I watch the other attendees and I'm like, I get into the energy. Like for me, it's like it fills up my tank.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the greatest things about events is, just like your car, you're driving around, the gas gauge goes down, that energy, all that stuff that you pulled from the previous convention over time tends to dissipate. And you go to another one, you get filled up again, and you want to hold on to that as long as you can. There's some things you can do to hold on to it, but eventually it dissipates and you want to fill it up again. So
yeah,
I've literally never been to a network marketing event as a distributor and thought, oh man, I just wish I had less people here. Every time I went, I would think, oh gosh, if only this person would have been here, they would have seen it. Cause like for me in February or March of 1990, I went to my very first event and I was very resistant to it. I was resistant to it because I was broke, honestly. I didn't have the money. It was $300 in 1990 to go to the seminar. I didn't have the money, but this guy said, do you want to be a leader in this company? I said, yes, I do. And he said, well, leaders attend events.
Yep.
And he goes, so if you're not attending the event, you're not going to be a leader. And that scared the crap out of me. So I figured it out. I slept in my 1989 red Toyota Corolla DX in La Jolla, California. Only time I ever slept in my car. Well, I mean, for an event anyhow, but we won't get into that. But it was interesting. I went to that event, and it literally what it did for me is it solidified my decision to have joined network marketing. Because I was already fired up and I was excited about the opportunity. But then I looked around. I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these other people. It's way bigger than I thought this was. There's other human beings like me and different people that, okay, this makes sense. It really helped lock me in to stay in for the long haul. I do fully believe that very first event is one of the key contributing factors that made me stay long enough in spite of not seeing the financial results in the short term when I first got started the first couple of years.
Do you think it's a normal feeling? Because I get this feeling every single time I go to an event and I can't wait to leave. I can't wait to get home to start putting into place everything that I just learned.
Yes, I do believe that's true. I'm the same way. Unfortunately, what happens with a lot of people, and I'll actually talk about that at the event, I won't do it here, but a lot of people leave those events full of intention, but never really act on those intentions. So I'm going to talk at the event about how to turn those intentions and turn them into actions.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. Let's do that. Let's give everybody just the Reader's Digest version of what they can expect from you at the event, and I'm going to go see what my dog is going crazy for. I'm going to shut
Reader's Digest version for sure. No, I'm going to talk a lot about adopting the right kind of mindset. How do you? Because the biggest battle that you need to win victory over is what goes on in here. I'm telling you, I don't care what your previous background is, what you did for a living. You're here. Most people battle this. Am I good enough? Will this work? Is this going to work for me? Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to lose friends over it? There's all sorts of crazy stuff that goes on here. Once you can get control of this, you become unstoppable. Then I'm going to talk about skill development and the key areas that create success: prospecting and recruiting, customer acquisition, and then team building and leadership. So that's going to be through multiple. Obviously, I think you've got me, talking like 19 times according to the last document that I saw. Maybe not 19. I think it got me 3 times or something, which is cool. So I'm excited.
Well, one of the things, you guys, Todd's going to speak on Friday morning just before lunch, because he's got some cool things that you're going to want to see right after lunch. So that's why we're going to schedule a break. And then Todd is going to speak in the afternoon on Friday. He's going to end the day for us on Friday, but it's for executive and above, executive builders and above. So Todd, you're going to talk to our leadership base. It's going to be a smaller group. That's in the afternoon for 60 minutes. And roll your sleeves up with this group, man. Just roll your sleeves up and let them have it. And you got to be an executive and above to attend that little session. And then Todd is going to speak on Saturday morning. Now, listen, I got to tell you this, and you're going to be a little bit intimidated by this. You have to follow Vanessa Hunter.
I might call in sick that morning.
If I were you, I would probably cancel right now. If I were you. V is
awesome. I look forward to following her.
Yeah, V is gonna do something for us in the morning on Saturday. You're gonna follow V, and then we're gonna take another break for lunch. So you and V in the morning. So once again, guys, Todd's got some cool things that he's gonna share with us that you're gonna want to talk to him right after he speaks, and then we're gonna wrap it up on Saturday. But dude, thanks for jumping on with us. I know you're incredibly busy. You're traveling all over the world, and thanks for coming to our little company, man. We really, really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you again, and that's going to happen in just a few short weeks.
Looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'll see you guys at the event.
All right, you guys, listen, let's wrap this thing up. Get yourself off mute. Everybody take yourselves off mute for something, and thank Todd. And get ready, you guys. We got a big, big webinar that's coming up in 30 minutes. Get your guests on board with that.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
Good to meet you in Vegas.
So excited.
Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, everybody.
When can you come? I'm so excited.
Looking forward to seeing you.
I'm already pumped.
All right.
Hold on to your pants.